So not a lot of people are caring about the Hawk 200, but I really wanted to show to you guys some of the performance stats that this thing has, and why you should probably think about getting this thing, because it is pretty great. So let's show to you guys compared to some of the other vehicles, right? And I know this video will not get too much attention, but the few people that watch this video, please get the Hawk 200, man. This aircraft, it will be forgotten a little bit unless you really love this type of thing. I love it because I was going to hate it, to be honest, but I love it just because it is so tiny and because of the flight model, okay? So let's take a look on the performance of this thing and wrap it up the day. Wait for new updates on the dev server, okay? Tomorrow, obviously, right? So yeah, let's get going. So here we have it, right? I'm gonna compare on StatShark really quickly the Hawk 200, the Sea Harrier FRS-1 and the Jaguar GR1, which are both aircraft from the same BR as the Hawk 200 in the British Tech Tree. And then I brought the MiG-21 SMT, which is a lower BR, 10.3, and the F5E, which is a higher BR. You can include many other aircraft over here, but just to have kind of an idea. So the first thing is obviously engine performance. Honestly, the engine itself, it doesn't matter too much. So, I mean, I can show to you guys the amount of thrust that this thing actually produces. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter too much, you know? You will see that obviously the Harrier produces an immense amount of thrust when it's at lower airspeeds. At the higher airspeeds, SMT, obviously. The Jaguar is there because it has two engines, right? The Hawk is right there. But it is producing, check it out. This is the only thing that I wanted to show in this specific graph. It is producing more thrust than the F5. This is how strong this engine is. Instead of the J85s, I think it is, right? On the F5E, you have the SPAY engine, apparently. I thought it was an outdoor engine, but doesn't matter. So, interesting, right? It is producing more thrust without an afterburner than two afterburning engines from the F5, which is insane. The problem with it, as you see, the VNE of it, so the max speed is going to be low. This is going to be the Achilles heel of this vehicle. Everything else is amazing, and you're going to see. So now let's take a look. Drag doesn't matter too much. I mean, we can show just for the sake of it again, to show how low it is. But yeah, in a general perspective over here, you can see that it produces the same amount of drag that something like the Harrier FRS. So way less than the MiG-21 and way less than the F5, which is great. And then in acceleration, you're gonna see something very interesting. So this is the acceleration out of it. So yeah, it produces not a lot of acceleration. See, it doesn't produce a lot of acceleration, but it is more than the Jaguar, which has afterburners. And look at this, even the MiG-21, yes, it is a lot faster. But it really, does it, like, is it really? I mean, 2 meters per second more or less, you know, it's not that much, 2, 3. And even if you compare to the Harrier, you can see that in the higher airspeeds, it's the same, almost, right? A little bit less than the F5E, a little bit more or less than the MiG-21 SMT. So it accelerates less, but it's not like a world of difference, right? Obviously, this aircraft doesn't have an afterburner. It's not a supersonic vehicle. So you can expect that the time to speed will be longer. But for example, to get to the 1000s, see, for example, here, it takes 46 seconds, while the MiG-21 SMT it does in 28, more or less, right? So yes, it is a severe increase, but it's getting to those speeds, right? And one thing that I really wanted to show to you guys, and this is where I think it is, you know, probably, I would say, the best feature of this aircraft, it is in the turning capability, because it can maintain a very good turn while it's actually, you know, maintaining certain speeds, right? So let me just, you know, take this out. So obviously it will be slower than most of these aircraft, but it's not like a whole world of difference. It is very much less, but, you know, less than you expect of a difference, right? And then when you go to take a look on the turn, look who turns the best, the Hawk 200. And this is where I wanted to really show to you guys. So although, yes, obviously, the SMT, even the F5E there, even with less thrust, the Jaguar, more or less, the Harrier, more or less, on the same level, but the SMT and the F5E, they're gonna be better on acceleration, on climb, they're gonna be supersonic, obviously, right? But remember, these vehicles, they do not have all aspect missiles. You do. So you got to think about that. And another thing is, look at the turn. It's not a small feat. Okay, so look at this. It turns the exact same as the F5E, but then up to this speed, the F5E starts to compress basically, and the Hawk doesn't, and it continues to like turn better. And the maximum amount of turn that you can do, it's at 900 kilometers per hour, which is pretty fast for the best turning capability of an aircraft. Normally, even fourth generations, they are normally lower than that. You can see that a lot of the third ones are a little bit faster, but you get the point, right? So 0.5 degrees per second, with the F5 only being able to do 34.3. So it's 1 degree, 2 degrees actually per second less. If you compare to the Jaguar, I mean, it's 4. If you compare to the SMT, it's 6. So this is a severe win by the Hawk. And this is where I want to wrap it up the video. I don't want the video to be too long. The Hawk 200, I know, guys, it might not be the most amazing thing ever, but people are underestimating the thing because, yes, it doesn't have any max speed. You know, it will lose every single time in max speed against anything, but it is very light, very nimble, and it turns better than literally everything in these BRs. It will be the best dogfighter, and it will beat everything in the right hands in a dogfight. Anything. I mean, I'm pretty sure everything. I mean, depends on the pilot, like I said. But, you know, these numbers, they show that this thing will be amazing. So yeah, the Little Hawk is an aircraft that it might not be like the most interesting one, especially because it is not fast. But, guys, not every type of gameplay needs to be the same. So the Hawk 200 brings something different to the table that will be very, very interesting, okay? So this is the Hawk 200. It will turn like a Rafale, basically, at 10.7. It's just gonna dominate in any dogfight if you know what you're doing. And it will maintain a very good speed. It will do everything better in the lower range of speeds, in dogfights and everything. It just doesn't have the ability to reach targets that are supersonic. But that's why you have some AIM-9Ls to help you with, okay? So this is the Hawk 200 flight performance. Very specific for turning fights. The 0 of the 10.7 BR. Very interesting, right? So I'll see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and bye guys, see ya.